guy was super creepy.
Will of the Emperor 25-man heroic is very similar to other ad management fights we've had in the past, like Dreamwalker and ICC, where the real key to the fight is understanding how the ads work, move, how you have to handle them, how you have to move and use the space around you, so that you can keep up with the rate that the ads spawn and let the people who have special roles have the space to do their job. In this fight, there are 3 main ad types that'll spawn in the walls: Courage, Strength, and Rage, and they are killed in that priority order. But before we get into those details, it is important to note when any of those types of ads die in heroic mode, instead of disappearing, they turn into sparks, which have a health pool and will fixate a random raider. Now, these sparks will explode on contact with either their fixate target or another raider, and this explosion will certainly one-shot multiple people in its range. It is not okay to have them explode in the raid, and so it's important that the person who they are fixated upon kites them outside of the raid's main space to the edge of the room. Now, because they have a health pool, the first few sparks could be theoretically killed the regular way from ranged. However, there's just too many sparks to kill them all the regular way. And so what we're going to have to do is have a rotation of invulnerability soaks from our raiders. Someone will have to go in, pop their invulnerability, and explode as many sparks together as possible by walking into them. Because the bulk of the ads that will exist in this fight come from rage mobs, which are the smallest, easiest to kill, and CCable ads, there is a strategy where you purposely CC rages to collect them together and then AoE them down all together so that their sparks also spawn together, and then you have an invulnerable player go in and pop all those sparks. The fight also has a gas rot that occurs. On normal it's periodically, but in heroic there's just a constant gas rot, and so healers will have to continuously top off the raid as time goes on. Getting into the details of the ads themselves, the first and most common is the Emperor's Rage. In 25-man, 4 should spawn at a time. They'll fix on a random player, walk towards the target, and then do mild damage. What's important to note is that the rages can be CC'd and slowed, and this may be used to collect them together so that their sparks are more easily accessible for popping. The next is Emperor's Courage, and this is the highest priority kill target. They'll spawn in the side alcoves by jumping down 2 at a time on 25-man. Now they'll fixate the furthest tank from their spawn location and walk towards that position. It's important to note that these guys have frontal shields and they're very visual, and the range will have to run behind them, plant, and start attacking them from a distance from behind so that you're efficient with your damage rate. And these need to die before they touch the tank, because they do a series of slowing abilities that once they do 4 hits, it's almost certainly a wipe, because the tank will be completely immobilized, and then the various mechanics that the tanks normally have to deal with will kill them in short order. Melee, be ready to turn around and help for a last few seconds of a courage kill. The last of the mob types is Emperor's Strength, and this is a large mob, and 2 should spawn at a time in 25-man. It has a regular threat table, so hunters should be ready to misdirect this mob towards their assigned tank as soon as possible, and tanks should be ready to taunt. And it's very important that ranged immediately zerg strengths, if at all possible, as soon as they can. And this is because the strength continuously casts an ability called Energizing Smash, which is a ground radius smash around him, that every time he casts this ability, it grows in size and grows in size and grows in size, to the point where if the mob is not killed quick enough, it will affect the whole space that we're in, and it will be almost an immediate wipe, because everyone in its smash range takes massive damage and is stunned. And because of this stun, this mob is almost exclusively killed by ranged. And while all of this ad management is being handled by ranged primarily, the melee and the tanks are going to be dealing with a completely different fight. And that is because there are 2 large ads that will eventually spawn, be tanked on their little alcoves, 1 for each tank. And these mobs will periodically do a series of combo moves that the melee and tank have to dodge. At certain segments of time, a combo will start on each of these mobs, and it will last 10 abilities. The abilities that will be cast in this combo set are 3 types of devastating arc to the left of him, to the front of him, and to the right of him, or a 360 stomp, which is in 12 yards range that you must leave before the stomp hits you and stuns you. There are visual signs to suggest which thing is about to happen, and it's going to be important that everyone who deals with this mechanic quickly learns how to do this dance. There are many ways you will be able to tell what's coming up in the combo set. If you're going to use Foji or DBM, they'll have triggers as long as they're tuned correctly. But if you're just dealing with the visuals of the game, the 360 stomp, he'll lift his weapon above his head. And for the various devastating arcs, the best way to cue yourself in is to look for a blue and white slash in the space around you. Wherever that slash is where the next ability is going to hit. And so simply dodging those preemptive white slashes is your best way to handle movement. Now, the reason why you want to dodge these, other than simply avoiding damage intake, is that if you successfully do 10 of these dodges in a row, you get a special action ability that does an immediate 1 million damage to the mob, which is not only an extremely powerful way to increase your parse, but incredibly reduces the kill rate of this boss. And so it's very important that everyone who interacts with this mechanic gets this down and helps everybody else kill the boss faster.